the question box, you will get a recording from today. So you can slow me down, speed me up, whatever you need to do, you have that ability. Now it will come to you tomorrow, so it's not going to be today. It takes us 24 hours to render this, if not more sometimes, depending on how busy the platform is, and it is a busy webinar day, but you will get a copy of today just because you've commented in the question box. So if you want a copy, make sure you comment there. Let's go ahead and dive in, everybody, because we're going to be talking today about how you can make better business decisions using Google Analytics. So we know there's a lot of data out there. I mean, come on, you can go out there and search anything that you want. You can look at your website and see all sorts of information from visitors, how many times somebody visits, how many pages they visit. I mean, you could just be overwhelmed with data. The thing is, data is wonderful, but if you don't apply it, then what happens is it's just great trivia. Really knowing how to apply it is understanding that data is the basic information. Getting to look at actually some of the trends and to see what's happening are the insights that you can get and the actual analytics that you can get from it. But those true decisions that you make, those are the insights that actually move our business. And you're looking for insights that you kind of sort of know, but you do want to check whether or not this is true. And you want to look at something that's unique enough for your business to make a difference in your business, okay? So definitely, absolutely. Tony, Barb, you'll get a copy. Perfect. Riaz, thank you from Austin. I'm so glad you found us. So the information you're looking for when you're looking for insights and you're looking at your analytics is something that is unique. It's got to be something that's novel and important to your business, to that bottom line. Remember what I said about measuring your marketing. Well, here in analytics, we get to see the information. And while we may have heard the myth that knowledge is power, it truly is. Knowledge is not powerful unless it is applied. It also has to be credible. So if you only have enough information from 2 people, that may not be credible for you. You might need a better sample size. Again, 2 of your best customers is more valuable than 2 strangers on the street, because now you're getting a better understanding of your customer, and it's important for us to be experts on our customers. But again, keep that in mind, that the bigger the sample size, the better chance we get to see actual trends, and now we can make some good, solid decisions. And it has to be something that you can take action on. Right? What is it that this is going to help you do to lift that bottom line or get you closer to your goals? Now, let me see. Okay, no worries, Brandy. Absolutely, no worries. Just do know, everybody, that if I do have to slow down to read some of the questions, I will do that because I want you to be heard. It is 8-point font, no matter how big I make this thing. So I just want to let you know that it might take me just a moment. So if you'll give me a little bit of grace, I appreciate it. D'Angelo, I do see you here. Thank you very much. All right, so we know about data. I told you about that. Facts and statistic analytics are those patterns to understand, and also insights. Ruth, absolutely, but you do need to, you just commented, so now you'll get a copy of it. The system will actually send that to you, and I'll tell you in a few minutes how you can get a copy of the slides too, but not just yet. All right, so let me go ahead and talk to you a little bit more about insights and analytics and data. So let me give you an example. For example, let's say you look at your website, and the data is about 50% of the people who visit your website are utilizing a mobile phone. All right, we see this, but the analytics could be that we see that 50% of the people are using a mobile phone to get to your site. That's great data. But now we also see those 50% of those people, so half of the people that come to your site, of that half, over 90%, so a good majority of them, will actually buy from your site. Or now you hear me say buy because of my e-commerce background, but let me say that when I say buy, what I truly mean is a conversion action. That is something of success that you want people to do on your website. So it's something that you feel is the purpose of your website that you measure as successful. It could be they download a PDF, they watch a video. It could be that they leave their contact information, that they buy something. So it could be any of those things. They donate, they volunteer, they share your site. It could be any of those conversion actions. I will refer to it often as buy, but that is truly what I mean. Perfect, Elena. Thank you for being here. Jill, absolutely. I'm looking forward to you learning too. But does that give you some insight about data, analytics, and insights, the difference between them? Data is that information about the mobile users to your site. Analytics are seeing that mobile users are better buyers because 80, 90% are buying, and the insights are making decision that, you know what, I'm going to build for mobile first before anything else. If I have limited time and resources, everything's going to be for mobile, and then I might build for desktop and laptop later, because we do know that 76%, that's just the general populace of the United States, 76% go to mobile first before they do anything else. So they do that, and in fact, we see a lot of people doing conversion actions on mobile before they ever even get to a desktop or laptop, okay? Now, today we're going to be talking about Google Analytics, right? We'll also talk about how you can find answers to your reports, so let me go ahead and show you that. And then advanced features. What is it that analytics can do even better for you? Then how you can use analytics with Google Ads, because it's really important when you connect Google tools, you will find that they actually support each other, they learn from each other. They also confirm with Google that the information about your business is correct, and it elevates that information, because that's why Google's the #1 search engine in the world, is because the information is correct. The more correct it is, the better, and the only place that, and the only people that can give us the correct information are the business owners, right? And then, of course, as I always end up, I will talk about a recap and resources with lots of free resources and sites that will be helpful to you. All right, so let us go in deeper in talking about analytics, and do feel free to use that question box if you have any questions, okay? I'm just doing a double check here because I'm getting a little bit of red line from the internet. We do not control the internet, so I do want to double check if I need to come off video. I'm okay. All right, everybody, analytics. Let's dive on in. Google Analytics is actually a free tool. So do know that everything that I'm speaking about today is 100% free. And this free tool will help you understand how people actually behave on your website. And this is key. You heard me say that at the beginning. You, as someone in business, a business owner or nonprofit, either way, you're getting to know the buyer better, or you're getting to know your donor better, or your volunteer better. Whoever your target is and whatever the purpose is of your site, you need to be the expert on that person that you are looking to serve, and you're looking to help, and you want them to interact on your site. You have to be that expert, and the only way that you can know that is by seeing how they act, what they do. If we were in a physical store, for example, and let's say it was in the morning, and I see every morning that people go to aisle 1 and they go to aisle 3 and they leave. Aisle 1, aisle 3, leave. That happens all morning long. Nobody's buying, they just leave. But then the afternoon rolls around, and I see that people go to aisle 1, aisle 4, aisle 3, and then they check out. Aisle 1, 4, 3, they check out. Now I start looking at that trend. Those are the analytics. The data is I see all that. The trend is I see, wow, there's a pattern there. That's the analytics. Now the insight, I need to know from those analytics, really, is it the afternoon people, or is it the fact that there's something on aisle 4 that is encouraging them to purchase? Okay, so what you can do, absolutely, yes, I think that's yes, there is a handout. So you were asking Cynthia, just look over there at that right hand side, that control panel. You will find a little handout there that you can download and use. Plus, I'll send you a copy of today's handout with a copy of this actual recording and a copy of today's slides if you make sure and comment in the question box, because that's actually where the system's pulling from. Okay, so great question, Cynthia. Yes. How do I reach that page for my business? Oh, absolutely. I'm just about to show you that, Lance, but let me tell you real quick, because I think it's a couple of slides away, but you'll go to g.co/analytics, okay? g.co/analytics. So I'll show you that in just a moment, because we are a couple slides away from that. But I do want to let you know, yep, I see it coming up as the next slide. So yes, definitely. Lenora, I don't know why I saw Lance, but Lenora, I will show you that in just a moment. So Google Analytics will help you actually learn what the search terms are. It will help you also see the demographics. Let me move this around a little bit here. Sorry, everybody. The internet keeps popping up that it's a little bit wonky. Can you confirm that you guys can still hear me? If you're having any lag, I do want to know so I can come off camera if I need to. Okay, everybody's hearing well. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. Okay, perfect. Thank you, everyone. So with Google Analytics, you'll see demographic info. Maybe you have a best customer. Maybe you have gut instincts about, well, who that best customer is, but you do need to confirm it, because what got you here may not get you to the next level of your business, and maybe the information is not correct. And then also understanding how our content performs, all of this, and being able to evaluate which channels. A lot of times people make decisions on what feels good. I get a lot of people liking my reels and loving my posts and stories on Instagram, but if it's not driving you any business, you have to ask that question. Remember what I said about measuring your marketing. If it's not lifting the bottom line or bringing you closer to your goal, then why in the world are you spending your valuable, precious time doing that? So Lenora, to answer your questions, this is where you get to Google Analytics. You'll go to g.co/analytics, and you're going to click to start an account for free. Now, do understand, if you have a personal Gmail account, or if you have a personal Google account. So this is just the consumer Gmail account and personal Google account, either one. You don't have to have Gmail. Now you have access to this, and all you need to do is go to this website, refresh your actual browser, and it will remember your credentials, and then you're ready to go. If you do need to start a free Google account, what you can do is you can either do it with Gmail or Google account. You do not have to have Gmail. You'll click here to start free, or you'll click at g.co/analytics. It will give you the opportunity to start an account for free. You can use your current email address, create a password, and just like any other password protected site online, that's how you'll access. All right. Now, just know that you do need to connect your website to Google Analytics, and we'll talk about how you can do that. So Lenore, I'm not going to leave you alone, okay? You are experiencing a lag. Okay, Mike, thank you so much. I'm going to come off camera. That's what I always worry about, because it's more important that you can hear me than to see my talking head. So let me come off camera for a bit just to make sure we're, because the internet doesn't play friendly. And as I said, I don't control that. Thank you for letting me know that, Mike. All right, so let's dive in and talk about Google Analytics. Now we know that in 2020, Google actually launched a different version of analytics. So you have two versions available to you. You have Universal Analytics, which many of you may be using, and then you also have GA4, Google Analytics 4. And I'll talk a little bit about how they're different, but everything that I'm talking about today is, again, the basics, because you have to have that foundation down to understand how your analytics are performing on your site, no matter what version you use. Make sense to everybody? Let me know in the question box which version you have if you're using Google Analytics. So if you do have Universal Analytics, which is UA, then to access the Google Analytics setup, you'll see here that you will go to your Google Analytics administration panel or your settings panel. And when you're in the settings panel, you can go to the second column here, and it gives you the opportunity right there at the very top. You'll see GA4 Setup Assistance. So when you're GA4 Setup Assistance, that means that it will walk you through. It's pretty intuitive as you walk through here how to set up Google Analytics 4. Now, Google Analytics 4 is the newest version of Google Analytics, and do know that the Universal Analytics will be going away. I believe it's next year when it goes away, but right now I do encourage people to actually carry both, because I like to see both information, especially if you're in an e-commerce business. I like to see both and be able to get some insights and give myself time to learn the new platform. Make sense? So how can you tell, Patty, is when you go to your analytics account. Good question. I'm going to go back here. One more site. All right, when you go here to your analytics account, g.co/analytics, and when you're there, what you'll go ahead and do is click on settings. Settings is in the lower left-hand corner. All the navigation on a Google tool happens on the left-hand side. You'll look for the gear icon that says settings, Patty, and then you'll be able to click on settings, and it will take you to this screen. When you go to this screen, it will let you know whether or not you have Universal Analytics, or if you see this, the GA4 Setup Assistant, it will talk to you about now being able to set up your Universal Analytics. If you don't see this, that means you're already in GA4. Does that make sense to you? Just want to make sure you know that. If you see this, when you're looking at your analytics, getting to settings by going at that lower left-hand corner, right here, see that right here at the very bottom? Let me drag my pointer there. So you're going to go to that gear setting. If GA4 Setup Assistant comes up, that means that you are still in Universal Analytics, okay? Let me know, Patty, in the question box if that answered your question. Now, when you're looking at your analytics account, you can review different reports to get those metrics that we're looking for. That'll help us make those decisions. Again, this is us looking to see how people are behaving on our site and being able to measure the health of our site too, as well as know how best to be able to serve our customers, becoming experts of those customers. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So if you don't see it on yours, Patty, thank you for letting me know in the question box. Then you're already in Google Analytics 4. And you'll see some of the slides here will be a little bit different because they're showing Universal Analytics. Some are actually also showcasing Google Analytics. So great question, Patty. Now, how to find answers with reports. This is something where a lot of people don't know how to focus on finding these different areas. and different reports to answer the different questions. Leroy, I do see that you're asking about Google Trends. I won't be in this presentation, but I will hang afterwards, Leroy, if you want me to go over Google Trends with you. Okay, I want to be respectful of everybody's time and do cover analytics during our time together. But sometimes you just have questions, and I'm here for you. So I will turn off the recording then. Q&A is specifically for people who are here live in person, and I will definitely make sure that I answer your question if you'd like me to, Leroy. We also do have other, Leroy, we do have other webinars that cover that specifically. You're very welcome, absolutely. And let me see, I've got a question here. I created my website on another platform like WordPress. Can I use Google Analytics? Absolutely. It connects with every website platform. That's the cool thing, okay? So let's go ahead and dive in and meet Eva and Ricky. So Eva and Ricky are small business owners, just like you and me. They started a t-shirt shop, and they absolutely have been growing and being able to build their business. But what they've found is that they're seeing a little bit of a lag. And so they're thinking, man, if we do a new t-shirt design, maybe that's going to get more business to our site. And they're also thinking that people, they've come to their site before, and maybe they're new to their site, maybe they've been past users of their site, but they are making some assumptions because they're not looking at their Google Analytics, and they think maybe, and how many of us as small business owners have done this? Just put a Y or a yes in the question box if you've ever thought, if I lower my price or provide a different offering, maybe I'll get more business. But we really haven't measured whether or not that's happening. Oh, we've got some people here saying, no, I love that, solid and strong. I actually work with some businesses where discounts are not a thing. But the majority are saying, yes, I understand that very much too, because a lot of small business owners actually do that. So what we can see here is the first thing in understanding which reports and what information you want from Google Analytics is truly taking a look at what goals that you want to achieve, okay? If you don't know what you're shooting for, then you can't measure how you're doing. That will help you then answer those questions that we talked about. We'll know where we have gaps, where we need to actually find out more information so we can better serve our customers. And then we'll know what reports to, what from the questions that we have, we'll know what reports to look up. Make sense to everybody? All right, let me go back here. I'm going to try again. We'll see if you see lag again, let me know. So first of all, it's setting goals, and it's important to have SMART goals. You probably have heard this acronym many times before, but it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And understand that every goal has to be SMART tested. This is what a lot of people don't like. In fact, whenever I'm talking about working with your Google Analytics, because they want the silver bullet, they want the fast answer of just tell me what makes it work, Maria. And I'll tell you, it is persistent, consistent, hard work. Marketing is not sexy. It's a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of heavy lifting to get people to pay attention and for your site to be visible, which it's really important, because if you're not visible in Google search, people can't do business with you. But the basics of doing that of that hard work is making sure you have got great goals, because if you don't have a foundation to your goals, just like building a house on shifting sand, having that foundation move on you makes it really tough, and you'll spend a lot of time, energy, and money trying to fix this before you ever see any traction, visibility, and cash flow for your business, which we know cash flow is king for us as small business owners. So as we look at this, think about, have you SMART tested every single one of your goals? Every single one. They have to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Let's think of that for a minute. Looking at your goals, are they? So specific. Maria, I want more Facebook followers. Well, great. What does more look like? One Facebook follower is, you've got 99 now you get 100. That's more. Is that enough? Is it measurable? Well, yes, that's a good number that you can measure, better than I want to be popular or I want to be viral on Facebook, which I hear a lot of people say actually they want to be viral on TikTok. I hear a lot of that. So again, what does that look like that makes that measurable for you? Is it attainable? Well, Maria, I want more followers on Facebook and more money. I made 100,000 last year and I want to make 1 million this year. Well, only you know if it's attainable. But my question always to you is, if you're going to make that kind of jump, that $900,000 jump in your business from 100,000 a year to 900,000 a year, what are you going to do differently that you didn't do last year? Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing the same way, expecting different results. So what's that big thing that's going to make that kind of lift in your business? Is it relevant? Maria, I want 100 fans on Facebook. That's great. I'm glad you want that. That always makes us feel good. But sometimes those are what's known as vanity vanity metrics. So when I say vanity metrics, they make us feel good, but they're not lifting the bottom line or bringing us closer to our goal. Now, some people will say, you know what, Maria, I want 100 people to follow us on Facebook. And the reason being is because I know Facebook is rented land. That's a social network that I don't pay for, or maybe you do because you have a business page and maybe you're putting ads out there, but I don't have a way to connect with people if Facebook goes down, or Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or LinkedIn. If it goes down, I have no other way to connect with people. And all of a sudden I lose that great database of people that I can connect with. So my first order of business is I'm going to get them to come to my site and sign up and get their email address. So I have another way to connect with them. So this is how it's relevant, Maria. It's if I get 100 followers, I get about 50. If I've got a good call of action, I get about half of them, 50 people to come to my site. Of the 50 people, 25 people, another half of those sign up to get that I get their email address and I can stay connected with them. That to me then is now relevant to your business, because staying connected with your customer and having several ways to do that is becoming an expert in your customer and really managing that customer database you have. So that's relevant. And is it timely? Again, how are you going to measure that? So as we look at Ricky and Eva's goal, what we see here is they want to decrease their shopping cart abandonment rate to under 60% in the next quarter. So let's smart test that. Is it specific? Well, yeah, they want to decrease their shopping cart rate, abandonment rate, which what that means, if you're not familiar with e-commerce, is when people shop on a site and they just keep putting things in the shopping cart and then they don't check out and do anything. They just leave. Imagine that in a store. You've seen a lot of abandoned carts, right? If you go to a grocery store, sometimes you'll see that happen. And that is lost money for the retailer because somebody just showed that they have an interest, but they didn't buy. So if you could pick that up and increase the amount of people who actually buy and decrease the amount of people who do leave their cart abandoned, now you're going to make more money. Does that make sense? Now, is it attainable? Only they will know. Right, because I don't know what their abandonment rate is unless I look at their Google Analytics. But let's say that they're running at about 60% and they just want it under. So they want it to be 50% or even 59%, right? Because they're not really specific on what under looks like. Again, they can get a little bit more specific there. Is it relevant? Absolutely, because if you get more people checking out, you make more money. Is it timely? In the next quarter, yes, it's timely. It passed the SMART test. Every single one of your goals has to pass a SMART test, because it just takes one goal off that now will take you and move you off a few degrees and send you on another trajectory that does not take you to your goal. And we want you to get to your goal, right? Because that means more time, more energy, more money, more donors, more volunteers. So it could be that these are your goals right here. Take a look at them and take a look at your site. Is it doing everything that it can do to make sure that these goals are inevitable? All right, I see a question here from Nancy. Can you touch on analytics suggestion for retail sites that don't sell online? Oh, absolutely. I'm happy to share that with you. Nancy, while you're thinking, while we get to that part towards the end, when I'll talk about that, think about what is the goal of your site then. If you're not selling on your site, what's the purpose of your site? What do you measure success on your site as? Okay. All right, let's dive in. Now that we know our analytics, now that we have a better understanding of what we're looking for in our goal, I should say. So we know our goal that we are going to measure in analytics. Now we can start asking questions. Do we really know who our audience is? All right, do we have a great understanding of them? Do we understand how they engage? What's important to them? What matters? Again, being an expert in your customer. Do we have a good idea about how they convert? Remember what I said about convert is a success action on your site. It could be they download a PDF, they watch a video, could be that they buy, or they leave their email address. And are your customers loyal? Do they come back? Are you staying connected with them? Because loyal customers are such great gold. It takes us so much more time, energy, and money, almost quadruple what it costs us to get a brand new customer compared to keeping one who's already happy, who has trust with you, because people are more likely to do business with people and businesses that they know, like, and trust, right? We still do business with people, so it's really important when we see that. So when we look at reach questions, do you know what your customers, who they are and what they're searching for? This is key, because I do deal with and work with a lot of small businesses who their answer to me is, Maria, I can serve anybody worldwide. I can serve anybody who fogs a mirror. That's what I can do. But understand, if you target anybody, everybody, and somebody, you'll get their second cousin, nobody. It's too wide a net. You do not have Coca-Cola type money to reach out and touch everybody. You just don't, nor do you have the time and cash flow as a small business. So you have to get laser focused. If you serve everybody, that's great, that's gravy. But if you think for a moment who your 100 best customers are, if you could get more like them, and that's all you got all day long, and that would help you grow your business, wouldn't you focus on that? Wouldn't you make sure your messaging, your content, your site layout, everything just really spoke to that person, that they looked at your site and they thought, oh my gosh, they get me. This is who I need to do business with. Because when you can articulate and communicate what it is that they need and how to help them, they absolutely provides the halo effect that they think you can solve it. When you can articulate their needs better than they can, they absolutely feel like you can solve that. Does that make sense to you? Let's see, I signed up for and have a new, how do you tag? Oh, okay, we could talk about tags a little bit later, Lenora. So, okay, I'll talk about that towards the end. All right. All right, so those reach questions really get to understand. It could be the demographics. You could think that they're buying here locally in town, but maybe they're 100, 110 miles down the road. You can also find out where they're spending time online. Really get to know those customers, and you can see all of that in analytics. Now, what engaged questions are is, how do people find you? Where are they looking? What information are they most interested in your site? Are they watching video more than anything? Do they download PDFs? Do they watch your blog, or they read your blog? Do they look at your photos? What is it that they're doing on your site that helps them get to that next step? Understanding their decision journey is very important, and what they need and what the pitfalls are of that decision journey is also what you have to do as the expert in your industry and your business. Make sense? And then the convert questions are really understanding what channels are converting. Is it Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok? Do you know that? Do you ever look at your site? What I love to look at in a Google Analytics site, because I do have e-commerce background, is I will actually look who came in from a Google ad, where they went. So I look at their, not just their decision journey, but their behavior flow. So that's the journey within Google Analytics. Did they look at the home page? Did they look at the product connections? Did they go over here and read the blog? Maybe they went to look at our reviews, and now they went off the site and they went to Facebook to get a little bit more social proof, or maybe on Instagram, they came back to the site and they bought. Did the both working together from Google Ads to the site to actually Facebook work together to solidify with somebody that this is who they want to do business with, or that's what they want to buy? Okay, because people do travel like that. So it's really important for you to understand the customer journey, not just their decision journey, but the journey that they make as they're looking through and making some decisions. So Google Analytics can provide that to you, and also let you know which channels are best performing, which are actually supporting you, bringing in new eyeballs, and which are helping you actually have customers convert. Remember what I said, what convert is: success action on your site. And then sustain questions. Maybe you want to know how you can utilize your site, or how your site's performing. If, let's say, you have a quick tutorial on there. When everybody gets your product, you have a quick unboxing and assembly video. Are people watching it? Are they utilizing it? What questions are they asking afterwards? Do they go look at the video, and do they look at your FAQs? Do they go look at the video? Do they read your reviews on your site? Or do they go to your video and start doing the conversion action that you want? Do they watch the whole video, just the first minute, or maybe halfway through? You need to know that, because that will help you understand, especially for your current customers, what they need to stay current and stay loyal. And it's great, if you don't know that yet, to still ask them to. Even if you don't see it in analytics, you're setting up your business, because I see several here saying they have a brand new business, so they don't have customers to ask yet, or traffic to their site. So what traffic is the amount of people that actually come to your site. So those are visitors to your site. We call that traffic. So you might not have enough traffic yet to really get to see your numbers, but talk to your customers, because again, it's okay to talk with them. You don't have to just sell them something. They like to be able to have a relationship with you, and those relationships are pretty lasting if you can help form them. That's the superpower of us in small business, is we're close enough to our customers that we can have that conversation, and that we can take action. While the big dogs are still trying to figure out what their human voice is and who their customer is, you already intuitively know that, because you do work closely with the customers. So some reports you can take a look at. Remember what I said, when you come up with those questions. So when we look at the past slides, some of the questions that we have that may be gaps in us fulfilling our goals, that will help us know what reports to look at. So for example, in real-time reports, I actually like to use this report if I just sent out, let's say, a post with a call to action. I said, hey, sign up for this webinar, then I will send that out. And because I have a call to action on that, I will look in real time what's happening on the site. How many people actually are visiting now? I was working with an organization that just had a new product come out, and it was featured on the Today Show. And so you could see as the Today Show aired, when it aired in the East Coast, you can see it come all across the nation. If you watch the real-time report, whenever it aired, all of a sudden there was a boost and lift in their website, and you got to see this is how the East Coast performed, this is how the Midwest performed, this is how the mountain area performed, this is how the West Coast. And then also it could be that you just sent out a newsletter and you'd like to see if it performs. Real-time reports are great for that. Acquisition reports let you know where did they come from. That's one of my favorite reports to look at, the source and medium. Where did they come from? Did they come from Facebook, or did they come from, maybe a Facebook right-hand margin they were looking at, Facebook mobile, that helps you even get better in your decision making, right? Especially if you only have a few bucks to spend, you want to make sure you're getting the most bang for those bucks. Also, what's engaging them? What are they really looking for? How are they acting in your site? What do they need to make a decision? What are they purchasing? Knowing that too, is there one product performing better than the other? Or what are they downloading? Is it one PDF or ebook that they're downloading more than the other? How frequently do they come back to your site? Do you have new visitors compared to customers that have come back before? Because what you have, the content in your site, will absolutely differ depending on those different types of customer needs. And then demographics, who are they? Maybe you don't even know who your best customer is, so you need to fill that out and go to the analytics or the demographic reports in analytics to be able to help you know exactly that customer. Remember what I said about being an expert in your customer. So let's look at what this looks like. Now, if you have Universal Analytics, what you're seeing on your screen is what it looks like when you're looking for this in Universal Analytics. This is a real-time report that you can see right in front of you that's giving you a chance to see where people are coming from. So for example, the top refers, let's say that it was mail. So somebody, they're looking into their mail, maybe you send a newsletter out. You can also see the most active pages that they're going to. Now, in real time, we can also see, this is in Google Analytics 4, you can actually see whether or not people are coming first from a different user source, so you could put it by their source. Are they coming in directly to your site? What a direct search is when somebody types in the name of your website. A direct search lets you know that they're looking specifically for your website. That also gives you insight into the fact that you've got great brand equity. Your PR, your posting, your brand, as far as you actually being out there branding, is known because people are looking for you by name. That's what lets you know that when you can see a direct search. But you can also monitor where people are coming from. See how it's showing you even graphically on the map where the best visitors are coming to your site and then what they're doing next. So we can see who's come in the last 30 minutes. And if we took an action, like a post with a call to action, maybe we sent out a YouTube video, now we can see if there was a link there to come to our site that it's performing pretty well and giving us some good visibility. If this is 0, then maybe it's not doing what we need, it's not resonating, and we don't do any more posts like that. Make sense to everybody? Okay. All right, let me see here. Acquisition, remember what I said about all the navigation in all the Google tools, especially analytics, is in the left-hand side. Can you change from 30 minutes to a different time? Yes, absolutely, Christina. You can do that. You can look in absolute real time. So it's minute by minute in real time. So you could do that too. Great question. She was asking if you could look at this. Let me go back to just shorter than 30 minutes. Yes, absolutely. You can go minute by minute like that. You'll get all that detail of what's happening on your site. Great question. Now on that left-hand side, I love to use the acquisition overview because I like to know which channels are performing. I don't want to go from gut instinct. I want to see in the numbers, because I know those numbers don't lie, exactly what's happening. So if you see here closely, you'll see that a lot has been done by organic search in this specific example. So organic is when somebody's looking for your industry. They're not looking for even Ricky's t-shirt shop. They're just looking for t-shirts in general. Now you'll also see here that none, it could be that it's just not being able to find different things, can't find how they found you. This may happen because of, maybe they're even using an iOS and they've opted out of being able to be tracked that way. There are other tools that can get you there too, but it could be that that's what happened here, that there was no tracking, so we can't really track and see where they're coming from. It could be that it's a referral. They came from another site. Maybe you have a friend or somebody who gave you a shout out on your blog. Maybe you're working with affiliates, so you actually pay them to give shout outs and to mention you on their site. It could also be, let's see, that's affiliate down here, CPC, that's cost per click. So that lets me know that's an ad that came from. But now I can decide how I spend my money and my energy because I know what's doing well. I know organic's doing really, really well, which is great. That means people are really looking at that industry, so there's an interest. But since it's not a direct search, that's letting me know that my brand equity is not where it needs to. So maybe I need to work on some branding. Okay. So engagement, you can look at the engaged sessions too. What are people doing? How often do they come to your site? How many pages do they look at? The more seconds that they stay on your site, the better. So the longer you file, you'll find that you'll see that the content is now resonating with them. A lot of times, for example, I was working with an e-commerce shop and they were able to grow in Australia. They grew from people spending about 1.2 seconds to 1.3 seconds on their site. They grew to 4.84 and they're now actually at 5.21 seconds. That's letting them know that people actually connect with them. And they're a USA business doing business in Australia. So I told them, well, you're winning because that means Australians see you as somebody that resonates with them and that you have a product that can serve them. So you can see all of the engagement here, what they're doing, really where they're spending time. So their pages and screens, which is what I like to do. I like to look at the behavior flow because do you know, do they come in from the home page or do they land on a different page? Do they look at your reviews page first? Then do they look at your blog? Do they watch a video? You need to understand that and know that. For every site that I ever take a look at and really read analytics, I can tell you exactly the flow of what a customer does and what pages are not performing or that may be driving them to jump off to go look at your competitor, okay? So it's important for you to take a good look at this. Where are people buying also? Where's this happening? Is it actually happening in an app or is it happening from a page? So for example, do they look at your reviews page and they're sold? You've got 8,000 5-star reviews, they're there. They're ready to go. So now they're just going to go ahead and jump and buy. Or are they reading about that you have some sort like Klarna, you have some sort of way for partial payment? Or are they reading your board of directors list? Do they read and see what last events that you were having and look through all the photos to see if this is where they want to spend their corporate money? What are they doing? So you can look and see what monetization's happening. And again, that's a conversion action that's happening on your site. And then are they returning customers? You can see who are the new customers coming in or the new users in your traffic, new visitors, and any returning, people who've been there before. So they're trying to make a decision. Somebody new may just be hearing this is the first time that you need to look at a t-shirt that does this because it's nice and slimming. But for those who've already been here, we don't want to hear it again. We want to know what are your new colors or when's the spring collection coming out? Or do you have some great deals and bundles maybe where we can save or subscribe because I fade out my t-shirt every so often, or how can we prevent fading? Again, this is something that you can see from looking to see who comes back and what content will really speak to them. Then the demographics let you know exactly what's happening on that site. You know, who are they, who's visiting, and what are they doing so that you can focus on that best customer. Oops, I got a little happy there. All right, everybody see that okay? Any questions on this part before we go on? Because we do see that Eva and Ricky absolutely saw that in their gut instincts, they thought that their shopper was female between the ages of 35 to 44, that they thought the primary driver of traffic was ads, and that people were repeat customers. But what they found in looking at their analytics is that people were actually male. That's their best shopper that came to their site. They were actually there by organic search. So people were looking for t-shirts. They weren't looking at their ads. Why spend on ads if people are coming this way, right? So it's important for us to know to make that decision. And then also the most purchases were from first-time visitors. These were not repeat customers. That will really change what you're doing on your site. Now, I'm going to get a little bit more advanced here, so feel free to ask questions on that first part because that's setting up and understanding basically what Google Analytics can do for you. But now this goes in a little bit deeper into the reports that you can see. For example, you can start looking at dimensions. Let's say I do want to know how many people are the first-time t-shirt buyers, but I'd like to know in the state of Texas or the state of Oklahoma how many people are coming, or maybe in North Dakota. I want to know in North Dakota how many people are coming to my site, and maybe I have a secondary dimension. Maybe I want to know how many people in North Dakota are using a mobile phone, or maybe I want it the other way. I want to know who's using a mobile phone here who actually came from Bismarck, North Dakota. So I'd like to get that specific and understanding how people from Bismarck, North Dakota on a mobile phone actually act on my site. Make sense? So there's a primary dimension that you can put, So that's something that's filtering exactly what you're looking in Google Analytics, because it's a whole bunch of information about your site, about everything. And if you want to filter and focus and say, you know what, I am thinking that my business is in Bismarck, North Dakota, or it's in Oklahoma City, you know, I'm maybe thinking that it's in Oklahoma City and I want to segment for that or put in a dimension to be able to filter for that, I can. Now I can also put a secondary dimension because I want to know what device they're on, or maybe I want to know what browser that they're using, okay? Now segments, now you can even isolate specific audiences, okay? So you can look at those dimensions to filter, but segments takes that filter and makes a segment of them that I can save and always go back to that group, okay? So now I can come back and isolate and analyze what that group is doing. What I can do there then is I can start now exploring. So in Google Analytics 4, the first task that I want you to do is when you are in Google Analytics GA4, go in there and explore. Start exploring to see what those different segments are. Start getting an idea. How much mobile traffic are you having? How many is just mobile traffic only? Or maybe you're seeing how much is coming from paid traffic. You want to know how much of my paid ads are performing in Bismarck, North Dakota that are bringing people here from their mobile phone. Or maybe they're not using a mobile phone in Bismarck, so why am I doing and spending anything on mobile ads? Maybe I should just do desktop ads. Make sense? Okay. Any questions on that? Because I did bring up ads and I have talked to you about how those link together. Let me talk about why you need to link them and how to do that. So first thing is, when you do link them together, it helps you understand the behavior flow of your customer even more. Remember what I said about understanding their decision journey and the customer journey? This will help you get there. It'll also help you understand and utilize AI, which is artificial intelligence, to tell you how they're behaving across all of Google. So not just specific to your industry, but how they behave across all of their search. Since Google's the #1 search engine in the world, it really is a great sample size of that will help you really understand of your potential customers what they're doing. Does that make sense to everybody? Oh, Cynthia, I'm glad you're back. Sorry that you disconnected, but glad you're back. So how to link that is when you're in the settings, remember what I said, that's that gear icon at the very lower left-hand corner that you'll click. You're going to go to the admin tab in Google Analytics and you'll see right here, it's usually that second column where you'll go down to and you'll put your Google Ads listing or linking and it will connect that together. It's intuitive, so it will walk you through how to be able to link the two together. When they're working together, now imagine this. Somebody comes in through Google Ads. They come into your site. So you know from Google Ads exactly where they came in, what they looked at, where they clicked around, where you showed up on Google to help them make that decision. So you'll have now these great ideas on where you can show up and what ad creatives really resonate and speak, as well as the text. Now they come to your site, and people who come in from an ad, now I can see they love to take a look at the collections. They love to read our stories, so they see about us. Then they head off to Facebook and they interact a little bit with friends and talk about something that they saw, or maybe wondering what is the new spring colors. Or they go onto Instagram, they see some stories, they find out a little bit more about your company, so they look at your Instagram account, they come back to your account, and they actually purchase, or they decide, you know what, I want to sponsor this event, or I want to be a donor. Okay, so again, you see that entire flow happening, and I like to look at the whole person, because we do know, in fact, Google Analytics 4 does this really well. It does not duplicate when somebody's coming in on a phone, or if they're coming in on a laptop or desktop, or maybe their internet connected TV, so their smart TV. It doesn't disconnect us that way. It shows that we're one whole person, and it gives you a really clear picture of that journey. Okay, make sense to everybody? So let's go over some recap and resources. And as we're doing that, if you'll start thinking about some of the questions that you have, I'm happy to answer those, or anything that I can give back through to help clarify that for you, because I do want to be respectful of your time. We're 7 minutes before we finish up, because I do want to give you some time for Q&A. So let's hit the recap, which is we want to outline goals first. Sorry, this is where everybody makes mistakes first, is not outlining their goals. And it's not sexy. It's not the answer that they want when they ask me for that silver bullet of marketing of what works. Then when you know what your goals are, now you know what questions to ask, you know what tools and reports to choose, and now you can measure to see whether or not that's doing well. Some tools that you can use that are free, and I do see some people asking questions. What are the paid features that you might want to invest in those? So there are no paid features within Google Analytics. That's 100% free. Just like Google Search Console, Google Business Profile, and Google Ads. It's free to use the Google Ad platform. It does cost you to pay for ads. Ads are paid by clicks. So when somebody clicks, that's when you pay for an ad. That's why it's CPC, cost per click, or PPC, pay per call. So it's a cost. It's either a call or a click. Okay, so Sandy, let me know a little bit more on your question because I'd like to go in depth. If asked, do you go and review someone's Google page? I'm happy to do that, but you know what? The Google partner that invited you has more bandwidth to do that because they have people right there for you, and it's just me doing webinars, and I'm normally in webinars in any given day. In fact, anybody who's emailed me, I'm so ashamed to say that anybody who's emailed me knows that it takes me a few days to respond to email just because I usually am in webinar. But good question. Does this work with landing pages also? Must it be a website with pages? No, it works with landing pages too. Absolutely. In fact, I utilize a lot of, I was just working with a business, they had 25 different landing pages. And so each 25 different landing page, this is what's really important, Dee, each landing page has to have what's known as a unique tracking metric. So I put what's known as a UTM, a unique tracking metric. So just something that happens in the URL, so in the address that lets you know, okay, this came from this landing page, this came from this one. Okay, so I know exactly what landing page is because sometimes people don't use a brand new landing page site. Sometimes they'll use a subdomain of their site, like it's abccompany.com slash new product. Okay, so maybe it's that, and you want to make sure you have it tracking, that you know that this is a landing page. Maybe you have connected to an ad or post that you're doing. Maybe you're doing a challenge on Reels or TikTok. So you do want to know for sure where people came from. That's what a unique tracking metric does. It lets you know exactly where they came from. So when I'm looking at analytics, I'm reading that exactly, and I'm not confused by people coming in Facebook organically or TikTok organically. I know that they're coming from this specific event promotion and they're going to this landing page. Does that make sense, Dee? Can we use Google Analytics? Oh, I'm going to go through this real quick because I do want to finish up. Then I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording so it can render, and I'll answer questions right after that, okay? This is a free tool. It is an app that you're seeing in front of you called Primer. And Primer can help you make sure that you're getting the latest on what's happening in analytics or any marketing tool. It's great marketing lessons too. All my degrees are in marketing, but I love Primer because it's wonderful for this. Also, if you ever want to learn what's happening and what's top of mind and trending right now, we have Google on Air. Be sure to register for these because they're always talking about the top trending topics and giving you a great walkthrough. And then, of course, the next site, the reason I want to give you this site is because it is actually what your Google partners go to. And if you see something on there that you want to learn more about, reach out to your local Google partner because that's why they're there. And they have access to the Google team. They can help either provide you this by counseling and supporting you or by bringing in a trainer if needed, okay? So let me go ahead. I'm going to stop the recording real quick, and now I can go to Q&A.